Hey, guys, thanks so much for being with us today. How you doing?
Great, thanks. Good to be with both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so we're going to start easy with just some basic stuff. Tell us about the subtitle, Raising Eight, a couple of sinners trying to raise saints. I love that.
Yeah, well, because we are. So when we were thinking about, we've been toying with the idea of doing a podcast together for a couple of years, and we really thought the pandemic was a good time to try to start that project. We had a little extra time on our hands. That might be hard to believe with 8 kids at home. But we wanted to really I think the primary mode was we want to encourage people. I think sometimes people some people would come to us, for example, and say, oh, the Lavignes, they've got it all figured out. They've got it all figured out. And the truth is we don't.
We don't. We're not experts. And that's what we make sure our listeners know every podcast, that we're not experts. We're just here to share our experience and of raising kids and trying to help them become saints. And we're just a couple of sinners. And that's our whole message with our podcast.
Michael, I get to see you obviously more than Lori because of our work at the Archdiocese. You always seem so calm. I don't know how you do it. But the two of you, look at the two of you. How do you juggle raising 8 great kids, and then you make the time and space to record a podcast? I think you have like 25 episodes, right? How do you do it?
Yeah, we just recorded, we just finished our 26. It just went out yesterday. It was a Facebook Live. How do we do it? Well, it's primarily Bishop Reed. It's my better half.
I mean, I don't know. Hey, kids, occupy yourselves for a half hour, 45 minutes. No, when we do the podcast, we're really mostly when they're in bed. Like the youngest ones are in bed. So it's usually a later time of the day. We make sure that the youngest ones are in bed, and then we can go downstairs. My better half has created us a little studio out of a little closet in the basement, basically. He's created a really nice studio for us. So it gives us like a little away space so he's soundproofed. So amazingly, we don't hear like when someone's taking a fit upstairs. It doesn't come through on the podcast, but it's happening. It's a normal house with 8 loud kids, so it happens. But
I have 3 kids, and I know that if I was doing an interview on TV right now, there's no way they would not make an appearance. How are you keeping them away from the interview right now?
I mean, we're blessed to have we have 2 teenagers now, and they do a nice job of helping us out. And Jay, it's nice to have a basement. So they're 2 floors below us right now.
Yes, exactly.
So Michael, you serve, so people know, as the Assistant Cabinet Secretary for Evangelization and Discipleship here in the great Archdiocese of Boston. These are challenging times for those involved in faith formation, which includes parents, of course. Tell us about Project Nazareth, please.
Sure. I mean, we have been talking about creating some faith formation materials targeted for the home, for the domestic church, for a few years in our team. And of course, with the pandemic, we knew that faith formation in parishes was going to be tough this coming year. So we really sped up that project by about a year. And the goal was to simply, hey, we're going to create these resources for free to give to our parishes so that they can pass on to their families to help parents begin to develop a habit of prayer, of study, of charitable activity together. That's pretty much the premise of it. And the hope was just, hey, let's get this out. Maybe we can help parents begin to take ownership of their role as the primary catechists of their kids.
Lori, I want to ask about the podcast for a second. What has been the reaction of people? What have you heard about your podcast?
Well, so far from friends, because that's usually the people that are listening, but we found out when we went live that there were people that we didn't know. That was nice to see, like, oh, it's spread around to people we don't know, not just our friends. But a couple of our friends have told us they feel like they're in the room with us when they're listening. It feels just like a conversation, and that's really what we want it to be like. It's just a very natural conversation about faith and family, and we want people to feel like we're sitting with them, sharing a glass of wine, just laughing and talking about the struggles and the joys of raising children.
Michael, one more question about Project Nazareth, if you don't mind. I know that it's been a great benefit already to many faith formation programs and parents around the Archdiocese of Boston. But is it also available to people who are watching perhaps this show from other dioceses across the United States?
Yeah, anybody outside it's free for parishes and families in the Archdiocese of Boston, and we charge $40 for subscription to families, and $500 for parish licenses, and give to as many people as they want. And we also do it in 3 languages: it's English, Spanish, and Portuguese.
Outside of the diocese.
Correct, and you can go to projectnazareth.org to find out more information.
Well, I have to tell you, I give you an A+ for today. I mean, no kids running around. It's nice and quiet. I think you did this just to get some quiet time.
That's why we do our podcast. He jokes that it's the only time we talk to each other each week, but of course we do talk to each other. But we love just having that time together to just kind of laugh and chat. And
well, we enjoy the time we had together too. Michael, Lori, thank you so much for being with us, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. Thank you,
so
Bishop
much.
Reed. Thank you, Jay.
Have a great weekend. God bless your family.
Bye now.